Hello and welcome, Must Players, to episode 37 of our humble little podcast. I say humble because we are pared down a little bit this week, Julian.
Yeah, it's just us two, but
That's
that doesn't
okay.
mean we're not going to have fun.
Absolutely not. In fact, we're going to try and do something that we have never done on the show before, so stay tuned for that. Of course, this is Must Play, the show where we talk everything video games, tech, film, frankly, anything we want to talk about. And Jules, we wanted to start off with some of the big news of the day being a brand new trailer for the next Bond movie.
Yeah.
No Time to Die, Bond 25.
I'm pretty keen for this one. It kind of looks like it's taking Bond back to its roots almost, like in terms of the action, the cars especially. Like that Aston Martin, when they revealed the Gatling gun.
Yeah, I mean, the headlights come down, little Gatling guns come out, and he does like a big donut, effectively.
That's what I want to see in a Bond.
Absolutely.
Bond film.
And of course, it's going to get a lot of attention anyway because it is Daniel Craig's last film as Bond. And I got to say,
sad.
yeah, I feel like he's really settled into it. I could do another 5 with Daniel Craig, and I'd be okay with it.
Right, I wonder if this is how people felt in the in the olden days.
Well,
Jeff,
I feel like they almost installed the 5 Bond rule because they didn't want Pierce Brosnan to hang around anymore. But now it's like we finally got a good Bond. Everyone cracked the sads about him being blonde initially, but he has really settled.
Can't imagine someone else doing it.
No, exactly. Although we are going to get someone else doing it, and we'll talk about that shortly. In this trailer, not only did we get a really good look at some excellent action scenes, just the cinematography is next level. We also got our first look at Rami Malek as the bad guy. Of course, the man who played the lead in Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury.
The question I've got about the Bond villain lead, pretty much every single Bond villain has to have some sort of skin condition or
Yeah.
it's just like it comes with the role.
It would be great if it was something really lame like eczema. You know what I mean? Or he's got mild acne, but he looks like he's been burnt in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what's actually happened there, but
and he seemingly is going to wear like almost a Phantom of the Opera-esque mask.
it is very Phantom of the Opera. Now, we obviously don't want to show the trailer because we want to make sure that our video continues to be live and we don't get any copyright strikes, but it is a little bit bizarre. I'm not sure how his villain ties in with the rest, because we do get a bit of a scene where you see Bond interacting with a villain he's put away, I think in his first movie, Casino Royale.
Yeah, Christopher Waltz's
Yes.
character. Gosh, I'm not...
He's back. But he's basically saying, if you do this, it'll kill you. So it's called No Time to Die. We know that Daniel Craig is going to be replaced effectively as 007, not as James Bond,
and
but as
it hints
007.
in this trailer that he's going to be beaten down.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to be brought down to a very low level, and then he's going to come face to face with the person who is essentially going to be playing the next Bond. 007.
Yes. Now, we don't get a really good look at her, but of course, Lashana Lynch is going to be taking over the role. We've known that for quite some time. And
her character in this trailer is pretty limited, but she does... she's got quite a few shots in the trailer.
Oh, absolutely. She's got quite a few lines as well. I almost thought she would be in there as an antagonist, but it almost seems as though she's on Bond's side.
Well, and it was revealed in the trailer that she is already a 00 agent.
In fact, she was a 00 agent and she's left it behind.
Much like Bond.
Much like Bond. So look, I'm super excited. I think that as a trailer, it did everything it needed to. It finished on an epic shot of Daniel Craig doing the traditional James Bond gunslinging pose down a hallway.
And we got the classic action line where he went into the hotel lobby or wherever he was and he's like, Bond. James Bond.
Well, there's no way to get us excited for a James Bond movie without doing that, obviously. I thought it looked fantastic. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Were you excited by your first look at James Bond 25, or should I just say Bond 25, No Time to Die? It wasn't the only big trailer we got this week, though, Julesy.
No, we did get our first glimpse of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know.
It's the Black Widow movie, starring Scarlett Johansson, of course. And look, it was always going to be a weird one to start Phase 4 because we ended on such a high with Endgame, and of course we had Spider-Man Far From Home, just to sort of tie the loose ends of that together. So it was always going to be
Spider-Man
tough.
was fine coming into Phase 4 because we already had this connection that Spider-Man was a new character. I feel like this new Black Widow film is a few years too late.
Yes, because it's set in the past. In fact, I believe it's set in between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War or something along those lines. Wherever there's a gap, they're trying to fill that with this backstory of Scarlett Johansson. Whereas I actually thought it was going to go back before she even rocked up at all on the scene.
Sounds
to show...
like it looks like we're going to get a few flashbacks, but it is going to explore her past.
Yes, and that's what we see. We see her meet her sister and what appears to be her other comrades from Mother Russia, all together working together against some faceless villain. We think it's going to be Taskmaster. I think that's been confirmed. But we only see him really briefly in this trailer.
Well, if that's him, I don't think he looks the best.
Well, the reason why I think he looks kind of average there is because he's sort of a blank slate. He takes on other people's fighting styles. And what I think we're seeing with him with the bow and arrow is maybe he's copying Hawkeye's. That would be kind of cool. But I really don't know how this film is going to feel in terms of how it connects with everything else. Because that's what Marvel films have become.
No, I get it, yeah.
So unless it has a villain or a potential hint at what's coming for the next 2, 3, 4 phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think most people are going to think, like you said, it's a little bit too late for just Scarlett Johansson's character. And that it's probably just going to be a token film if it doesn't link with everything else.
But to be honest, fans of Marvel are going to go and see this film. But it's
absolutely
off the back of Endgame, it's not going to be anywhere near the size in terms of a release.
No, absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's just a prediction, but doesn't that make sense? Like, I don't see this being the next blockbuster Marvel movie. I can't see any of the new Marvel movies ever topping what they've done.
But again, you need to wait for them to build again. They're waiting for Phase 6 or Phase 5 to really pull in those big heavy hitters. I think this one's all about establishing some new characters, which is why I think Black Widow might not be the best choice. Don't get me wrong, it looks great. Some of the scenes are very action orientated. I can get behind the choreography, but I'm just curious to know where the story actually goes.
Well, especially because, spoiler alert, at the end of Endgame, during Endgame, she ceases to exist.
Yes. So, I mean, when you already know a character's ending and where their arc eventually takes them, it can almost make the movie feel like it's got a lack of suspense. So I'm curious to know how they work that in some way, shape or form. Now, we did want to talk about one thing that was a little special, Julesy, because during the week, a big name in video games celebrated a birthday. Not a small birthday either, by the way. I thought it was actually younger, but I feel
can't
like
believe it's been this long.
My perception of how old things are is so skewed, because I feel like the Nintendo 64 only entered my life when I was 5, but it was out when I was 2. It's just that's when I realised it existed. Anyway, we actually had the 25th anniversary of the original PlayStation during the week. So if you have any great memories about Sony's original PlayStation, let us know in the comments down below. We'll chat to those and chat about those in a second. But I genuinely can't believe that it's been this long since... I mean, if you remember correctly, it was Nintendo and Sony trying to work together on a disc-based system.
And it essentially opened the world to 3D gaming as well.
Absolutely, it did. That partnership failed, and then Sony said, well, don't worry about it, we're going to go and make our own then. And then it sort of left Nintendo in the dust because they still went with cartridges and you were able to do so much more on CDs at the time. So did you actually have a PlayStation 1?
I didn't.
You did not?
No, I got one when I was older.
Yeah?
But no, I never had one. I was always going around to friends' houses and playing theirs. And that's probably where I play the most of my PlayStation games at friends' houses. Like, I used to go to one friend's house after school and we used to just play almost 3 days a week. Like, that was my childhood, PlayStation.
PlayStation was
before I had a 64.
It was a little bit too much of the cool kids console for me. As a 5-year-old, of course I'm going to pick Mario Kart. So for my early video game years, of course I never really touched it. I do have one distinct memory of playing both the Toy Story game and the Rugrats game on my cousin's PlayStation way back when. But by the time the PlayStation 2 came out, the new name on the block, the new kid on the block was the Xbox. So I went to Xbox, stuck around for Xbox 360, and I've only really... the first PlayStation I ever owned was the PlayStation 4.
Really?
So I actually jumped ship.
You didn't have the PS3 and experience
Didn't have the PS3, didn't have the PS2. Played a lot of the games eventually, but just not in the way that you were probably meant to play them. You know, I didn't get the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater vibe when it was out and about, even though I loved playing it at my mate's house. I wasn't going to go out and buy another console.
Pro Skater 2 on PlayStation, but I also played it on 64.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it was so much better on PlayStation, by the way.
Oh, it so was.
By the way, excuse me for just eating chips throughout this entire segment.
The Uber guy delivered late.
He did. Wee Chan had only picked... I ordered an hour ago, and the chips are frankly soggy.
But
For $8 for the large.
Because we're hungry.
I'm disappointed. Let us know what your favourite PlayStation memories are over the past 25 years. I mean, it sparks the discussion. What do you think tops the list as the best franchise, Jules?
For PlayStation? Gosh, I guess the first one that popped into my head was Metal Gear. Being an original PlayStation 1 game and looking where it's at now, there aren't too many other series that kind of have continued on since the original PlayStation, are there?
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Well, come on, please enlighten me.
Well, I think the biggest one would have to be Crash Bandicoot. I think as an icon of Sony, that's definitely the one.
But it's not like that's had generations of gaming, though.
No, but it has had a resurgence.
Yeah, well, they just released it this year.
Same as Spyro, though.
25 years later, there's just been a consistency with the Metal Gear series, and that's why it jumped in.
That's fair enough. I think Gran Turismo is probably up there.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, lately, Uncharted and God of War, but they were really PlayStation 2 onwards,
3, yeah.
rather than the first one. I think my favourite series has got to be probably Uncharted. Even though I loved the last God of War probably a lot more than Uncharted.
Well, I know you hate it, but Spyro was a great one for me.
I don't hate it.
Well, you hate.
I just said it wasn't our game of the year.
Well, I didn't say it was the game of the year, but I said it was a pretty good game. Let's not get into
nominated
this again, please. We did this last year.
No, we're going to be talking about our games of the year next week as well.
When Fish is back.
When Fish is back. We do have one more quick thing to get to before we try and do something a little bit different, something we've never done before on the podcast, but it's chat about this. Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge. Now,
sign me up.
For the uninitiated, Jules, do you want to just explain briefly what this announcement was?
All right, so this is a new show coming to Disney Plus. It's a game show, and it's going to see young contestants take on the role of a Padawan and make their way up to a Jedi Knight. And it's hosted by none other than Jar Jar Binks.
So exciting. Best call.
Ahmed Best.
Whoever's behind the scenes at Disney that made that call as just a casting choice, absolute genius. I'm sure he's not overwhelmed.
Sign me up.
Work.
I haven't done anything in so long.
He'd be absolutely stoked to be involved. But I am definitely hoping... Again, I know they've got a little bit of a layout there as to what it could be. I mean, fun obstacles, blah, blah, blah.
But if it's not the Ninja
Warrior of Star Wars games, I'm going to be disappointed.
It sounds like it's going to have some sort of element like that. But these are kids playing this game, which we have to remember, which... I'm disappointed. Like, why can't I compete?
Well, just curiously, if you're watching and you had to develop a challenge for this Star Wars new show, what would yours be? Because, I mean, you've got to be able to test something. Like whether it be reflexes
First
or
one
fear.
to become a real Force ghost.
Well, so just die.
Suicide pact.
That's the most morbid thing that's ever been said on the show. I hope you're aware of that. You've set a new low there.
Create a real lightsaber.
Yeah, look, that can't happen. But I do think
obviously
things
they're
like
not going to have things like
testing a quote-unquote force jump, you know, or the strong, like, you know, you got to jump off a trampoline and see how high you get, or
See, that's lame. I want to it's got to bring on a Star Wars level.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but how can you do it unless CG is involved in some way, shape, or form? It's not like you can. What are you going to convince a stormtrooper to let you through a door?
Yeah, well, I mean, what's something instant what's a game that...
I definitely think, because I did this as a kid, my brother and I used to get our 10-bullet Nerf guns, our little machine gun that we got for Christmas, and one of us would stand at one end of the corridor and the other one would have their lightsaber, and then we'd fire bullets intermittently at each other and try to block the Nerf bullets as they came.
See, that'd be a great game. And if they do that, you know that you got the idea from Mark Disney.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely need royalties for that in some way, shape or form because, you know, supplementing the income at this point is pretty critical. Let us know what you think of Jedi Temple Challenge. Will you watch it? It's coming to Disney Plus when, Jules?
Oh, I don't know. Let me check. 2020.
All
There's no date.
That is supremely vague, but that's fine. We've had enough Star Wars content.
The release date is it'll stream exclusively on Disney Plus in 2020, which is only, I mean, it could be January for all we know. It's only, it's the end of the year.
It's okay. We'll get there soon enough. Now, we wanted to try something a little bit different. So, Jeff, if you would hit that magic slider, bloop, this is us playing a video game.
How's that battery? Isn't that depressing?
While we are live on air. Now, Julian, why have we picked Super Mario Maker 2? We've never done this before, by the way, so I do apologise if our conversation is a little stilted as we try to walk you through this game. But there's a reason why we've picked Super Mario Maker 2.
Well, there's a new update, version 2.0.
Yes.
But that new update has an exciting new feature, which...
Well, it's brought on a whole heap of new items and stuff.
Well, we think it's exciting. We haven't actually really experienced yet because it took us 45 minutes to figure out how to do it. But you can now play as Link and create obstacles and challenges for the Link character in Super Mario Maker 2.
So, do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, you...
All right, I'm in control, so you might have to lead the way. And one thing I'm noticing straight away is the fact that I'm not currently on the correct course theme. So if I wanted to use... I mean, it looks like lava is a new one, which is great. But we've got to change the game style to the old school Super Mario Brothers if we want this to work at all. And the reason for that is because that's the only one that they got the Link working in some way.
Now go down and we'll change it to just like the green... normal.
Green zone. But if I do that, will that completely ruin the... Will it take the course away from me?
Hopefully.
What? All right, no, it's fine.
It didn't. Okay.
So... one thing that we wanted to show off is the fact that it's actually not all that easy to find where you can be Link. Oh my god, there's a bit of lag on this, by the way, so playing Mario is probably not ideal. But the thing is, if you actually look for it in the menus, even though everything is unlocked from the moment you've updated the game, there's pretty much no way to know where to find the Master Sword. Like
we struggled.
If we go for a bit of a search... we'll jump up the top here and go over to this little search icon. You can see everything that's there. So we've got terrain, we've got items, obviously enemies, as well as gizmos or gadgets and funky things that you can implement into your levels and then share them online.
Yeah.
But you can, if you have a look closely, there is no...
There's meant to be a Master Sword that you can pick up, and it essentially works the same way as like the Fire Flower or the invincibility star.
Yeah, it's basically a power-up. So... I mean, we were confused. We were so confused that...
You'd think something as prominent as the Master Sword deserves its own spot. I can't believe you died then.
Yeah, I can't believe I died. I'm very embarrassed about
But we
that.
did figure it out. And we will share.
What I'll do is I'm trying to pick up Mario, but unfortunately, as I said, there's a little bit of lag. Here we go. So, if I drop Mario back there, what I'm going to do is I'll get a pipe, a green pipe,
Oh.
and I'm going to plonk that down
Then stuff it up.
here. Here. Here.
Hey!
Now, Jules, how do we actually, for people at home that are trying to do this themselves,
Can I just say, Matt Cockrell's commented and said, "Whoa, cool tech, boys."
this is about as interesting as it's going to get, Matt.
We are stepping it up.
As we are really struggling right now, but I absolutely love it. Hopefully we can bring you a whole lot more gameplay in future, because I think that's going to be super fun for us to do, let's be honest. But we're on Super Mario Maker for today, trying to showcase something with a little bit of lag. Now, Jules,
Yeah.
here I've got myself a mushroom.
Yeah.
I'm dragging it into the pipe.
Alrighty.
Now, if I click and hold on it, you get
there
options.
It is.
So, one of them is the Master Sword. We can click that. And finally, the Master Sword is in our game. So if we hit play...
But isn't that a bit too hard?
Absolutely, it's too hard. But I don't think Nintendo cares.
Alright, come on, let's activate the link.
Da-da-da-da. He looks so
How
awesome.
good.
So obviously you can jump with him, which is not a Link trope, in fact, until Breath of the Wild. You can still attack with him, as you would expect, by pushing either the X or the Y buttons, his little sword.
I don't think we've seen Link in a 2D platformer like this. He's normally
I suppose-
top down.
Yeah, but you could get his skin in the original Mario Maker game, and you could also in Legend of Zelda 2 there were side-scrolling sections. So the one they've just released as well, Link's Awakening for the Super Nintendo has for the Nintendo Switch also has a few of those functions. Now,
Anyway, let's just talk about his moves for a second.
so you can jump.
Jump. You've got his sword.
Yep.
You've got his shield.
Yeah, I don't know how to use the shield. Oh, there was a bit of a bow and arrow
You've got his-
situation.
yep,
So I'm
his
just
bow.
I'm holding left here. That's the left trigger. If I aim up, all right, you can shoot and do absolutely nothing. the box is seemingly impenetrable to my arrows. Let's see if we can kill anything. Oh,
I thought you
God.
said you were good at this.
Jeff, I've never done this before. All right, now we know where the arrow is going to land. Let's see if we can time it. Bop, bop. Hey! All right, here we go. We can kill. Oh, jeez.
Come on, just hit him with your sword, mate. Or chuck a bomb.
Well, hold on. We know that chucking bombs is an option, but I genuinely have no idea
Well,
how to
let's
do that.
figure it out.
So if you had to pick any of these buttons, what would it be?
Maybe it's like crouch.
There's a lot of arrow. Oh, okay. So crouch is to use your shield. That's good to know.
Okay.
And maybe if I crouch and hit the sword. No. Oh, geez, what's going on there?
Ooh, he's gonna do a charge.
Okay, so don't do that near an edge. That's for sure.
If you just press minus, it starts the level again.
Does it? No, it's going to start me there. Oh,
Yeah, but don't
That's
worry
cool.
about it.
don't worry. We got to cross the gap. Fine, but I still don't know how to use the bomb. So this is a problem. Oh well, you know why I can't use it? Because I'm just regular old Mario now. This is a problemo.
Also, comments on YouTube. Patrick agrees that Crash Bandicoot was a great
Oh, jeez.
addition to the PlayStation franchise.
Yes, I 100% agree, Patrick. That is the only game that I reckon would be up there with probably. I reckon.
Oh my gosh,
yes-
who are you?
What? Mate, I'm trying to play over here.
Can you run the program, please?
Can somebody please tell me, if anyone knows in the comments how to use bomb and would be able to tell me before Julian can find it online, or before I can actually get that sentence out because it took me an eternity. It's actually very hard to play video games and talk at the same time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, hold on. We're learning. We found an article on shacknews.com.
I'm not gonna Y button.
The Y button? I've been pushing the Y button. All I've had is a sword.
Press down and Y.
Down and Y. But that's what I did before and I... No? At the same time?
Sorry. Up and Y.
Oh my god. Ah!
You just didn't think to try up and Y?
Up and Y. Oh, look, well, we killed that Goomba. All right, that's good. So, I mean, in terms of keeping Mario Maker alive, I think this is phenomenal. Because we have a lot of people have wanted a Zelda Maker for quite some time, and it hasn't happened. And I don't think
Yeah.
Nintendo is ever going to get around to actually making one. But this is a nice little compromise. Bang! Look at that. That's fun. You've never been able to shoot a bow and arrow in
No,
Super
I mean,
Mario
sure, you get
before?
little fireballs or whatever, but no, I'm pretty happy with this, and I look forward to making a level where you actually get to utilize Link's new
Oh,
abilities.
Well, I mean, anyone in the comments, if you had to make a level for Link, what would you make? Would you make maybe like a 2D version of the Water Temple from Nintendo 64?
People are going to do some great stuff with this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, don't say the water temple. Who are you?
I'm a sadist. Oh my god.
Yes. And Matt just wants to clarify, just so you know, lads, I think it's actually cool, and I want to see more of this in the future.
Absolutely. All right. The lag is what's really getting me right now.
Yeah,
Jeff, I'm going to blame you for that one.
Patrick's got a very good comment.
What is Patrick's comment on
Oh,
YouTube, Julesy? Oh my god. I can barely even grab my Mario. It's because I got multi-grab on. That's the biggest issue right here.
Yeah, that's very wishful thinking, Patrick.
What'd he
unless it's
say?
coming out of the Jeff charity fund.
I don't know what he just said. What did he say? You got to read it out.
Okay, next thing we want is a Switch giveaway.
Yeah, good luck, Patrick.
Let me just call Nintendo.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, one of our... Oh, God. Anyway, besides proving that I'm absolute rubbish at Super Mario, I genuinely am excited by the prospect of this, Jules, because, I mean, it is an update that no one necessarily asked for, but the fact that we got it, it was free, and it includes one of the most beloved characters in Nintendo's library, has me thinking about who could potentially be next. Now, I know this is always the trap we fall into. It's like we're never happy with what we have, and we've got to ask, what comes next.
Next in Super Mario Maker. Like, is that what you mean?
That's what I mean. Like, who else would you like to see them bring in here? Am I going to die if I fall off this?
Mario and Link, they're probably the most
yes.
iconic. How are you meant to do? Oh, you've probably got to like sprint and launch yourself.
No, I'm pretty sure this is designed so that you actually have to create.
All right. Well, why don't you create something?
Don't worry, I'll create.
Gosh, who else? Who's as iconic? I mean,
I would love to see Samus from Metroid.
oh yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Here we go. Patrick
yeah.
wants to see Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, why not? The more the merrier. He would be pretty cool, actually, because in 2D form, Crash Bandicoot would have a lot to do.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I could see Crash working for sure.
I don't know who else. Julesy?
I'm trying to think of.
I feel like you're just spending more time staring at the game.
Sorry, I'm
Did
just
you
like,
want to play?
Yes.
Yes, all right, well, let me get through this level.
I don't think so.
Because I definitely just want to put another Master Sword here for myself. Cheating to get to the end. Yeah, Link.
Can't believe you just built all these blocks to get to the top here.
Well, I don't even know if I'll make it. I'm going to say, though, shooting arrows is awesome. Like, the way they've actually designed it for 2D is great. The only disappointing thing is, and we sort of alluded to it earlier, it's that you have to play in the old school Super Mario Brothers skin if you want to play as Link. So you can't take him into Super Mario World skin or 3D World or anything like that. Which I understand. Don't get me wrong. That's how it's going to be. Mate, do you have Joy-Con drift?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow. That's extreme.
I know. How do I get rid of it?
That's a genuine fault. I can't believe I'm seeing that for the first time. My Joy-Con do not do this. See, I'm not touching anything on the Joy-Con. And yet, for some reason, it was just drifting there.
I know you can send it away to get it fixed, but...
Now, Jules, you did warn me earlier about my
this
greasy
is why I got Joy-Con
hands.
drift.
I've unfortunately got chip grease all over your controller. So maybe I'll hand these back to you. I don't know if you want to maybe try a level for yourself while I chat about Super Mario Maker a little bit more, because I actually really like the concept of adding new characters because it allows you to be more creative with stages. So I think Samus Aran from Metroid would be my next one, my big number one. And I think maybe Pit from Kid Icarus would be another one where you could have the multi-jumps.
Okay.
Or even like a Kirby. Why not? I mean, that would be a lot more complicated
I'd be all
because
for Kirby.
there's copying powers and stuff involved in that. I don't know exactly how you would do it. Mate, you've ended up on the wrong side.
Oh, you're right. This lag is real.
Yeah, it's bad.
But Patrick solved it.
How has Patrick solved it?
Did he comment
See you
again?
later.
All right, Patrick says...
No.
All right, it's not there. Okay. Look, I really am excited by the prospect that we now have this ability to play video games live on the stream. I know Matt is pretty keen for it and he'd actually like to see more in future. I think if you are a fan of it, let us know, because we would almost like to have a game playing in the background for the entire time that we're doing the podcast. And maybe you could suggest a game or recommend a nice indie that's just come out, or even a AAA title if it comes out, say, for example, Star Wars. We were all talking about it last week. We would have loved to shown you that as well. That's what we're working towards. So if you'd really like to see this more for the rest of the year, let us know in the comments below. Julesy, did you want to, I mean, you're just working out exactly how you go
I'm
here.
working out how to play this because I haven't played
right.
in so long.
Well, I'll let you get the Master Sword. You give me your quick impressions, and then we can wrap up the show. Because I've also been playing Pokemon during the week. I finally got around to Pokemon Sword.
Jules.
I'm just glad that everyone else is realising it might not have been my fault.
It was.
I've been playing Pokemon Shield, and I got to say there were a lot of so-so reviews for that game. A lot of people were not necessarily negative on it, but were certainly not as enthralled when it came to the new Pokemon, the fact that there were a lack of so many, or that there were so many missing Pokemon, and frankly, I mean, this is like the 10th Pokemon game I've played, so I didn't go in thinking this is going to be unbelievable, but
All right. Well, what starter did you go?
I picked Grookey in the end.
Sorry, you'll have to tell me what that is.
Grookey is the grass monkey with the stick.
Okay. Grass
He's
monkey.
just in my opinion, he was the most interesting one. And I always struggle to find grass types early on in Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I figure if I pick him as a starter, I can easily find a fire Pokemon. I know I'm going to eventually try and get a Charizard.
Oh, look at that. Sorry. You can do a downward...
Oh, that's awesome. How did you do that? Just curiously, if you hold down and a Goomba walks into you, does it deflect him? You're facing the wrong way.
dunno.
All right, go back, get the power up and try again. But I've been really impressed, and I think graphically, even though it's not the most impressive game on the Nintendo Switch, it's certainly is interesting enough.
How does it compare to the other Pokemon games, though?
Oh, it's certainly much better in terms of visual style to the other Pokemon games. Like, there's no denying that. The one thing where I feel it may fall down is that Dynamaxing technique that they've got. I don't know if that's going to be as interesting long term as even like Z moves and stuff, where I just feel like that was critical to the game, and we've seen now that they're effectively bringing in gimmicks that they're ditching. So they're not really going to go from game to game. So I don't really see the point of having that when I already have the feeling it won't carry over to the next game. So it's fine as a gimmick for one, but I don't know if I'd really like to see more of that in future. But I'm only about 2 hours in. I love the wild area. I basically wasted all of my time there. I didn't even bother with the story.
Yeah.
I just
and would
stayed
you
there.
say that it's comparable to Breath of the Wild in terms of the open area?
No. Nowhere close.
Because I know, like, obviously it's the same developers, so
It's not the same developers. What are you talking about? It's
Nintendo,
published by Nintendo,
yeah.
but it's not the same team. I mean, Game Freak is pretty much its own thing. The people.
But it
that
looks
make
like they've
Pokemon.
taken inspiration from some of the landscaping. It looks very Breath of the Wild in some of the stuff I've looked at.
It does look.
And they've got that whole cooking thing as well, which
They
looks
do. But
exactly like Breath of the Wild.
I've got to say, just generally speaking, there's not a lot of find items and then craft them, which is what Breath of the Wild was good at. It's buy items and then make things with those.
Okay.
And then on the flip side of that, it was, when it comes to the wild area, it's just a large, sparse area. There's a lot of pop-in, so it's not like you can see a Pokemon off in the distance and say, I'm going to go over there.
Right.
Whereas at least I feel like the enemies in Breath of the Wild were present when you zoomed in. So that's something Game Freak really needs to fix, I think, going into the next iteration. But generally speaking, the characters are good. Like, the setup is great. It's a stock standard Pokemon setup. There's a lot of running around and talking, but I think it really does work. So I'm looking forward to catching a few more random Pokemon. I still get excited. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you see this animal, you're like, what the hell is that? I've never seen it before. I got to catch it.
Okay.
And then when it kicks your butt, you're like, all right, I need to quickly sprint off to the Pokemon Center, buy more Pokeballs, whatever it is. It's good.
Cool.
Give that back to me, because I want to play a little bit more of this while you tell me what you've been playing, Julesy, and then we'll wrap up the show for the week.
Well, I mentioned last week that I was playing that Switch game. Oh, gosh, I'm just going completely blank. on what
Oh
it's
my
called.
god, something 88?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Black
hold on a
Future
second.
88, sorry.
Black Future 88, it's right there.
Yeah, so that's been going great, as you can obviously tell. I haven't been putting too much time into that, but I have picked up, since our last discussion of the new Half-Life game, I've started playing Half-Life 2 again, and it's bringing back some great memories, because I haven't really played it, for a very long time. And probably the last time I played it, I didn't have a very good computer to go with it. So it's good to be able to play it on something that's not going to crash every 2 minutes, and something that I can play it on maximum specs. This game came out in 2003, so it's ancient in terms of gaming, but it looks amazing for a game that came out. Oh, sorry, it was 2003. I'm pretty sure. I better check that.
I mean, it is an old game. I mean, it's one that... And
the physics, I have not played a game that competes with the physics of any other game. Like, even in this game, you can pick up bricks and put them on one end of a seesaw to the point where it'll support your body weight on the other end.
well, it's hardly groundbreaking, Jules.
Yeah, I know, but if you put one brick on there, it's going to do nothing.
It's like,
But if you put a certain number of bricks, what's a game that does that these days?
What are you talking about? Breath of the Wild did that.
Not many. Like, the new Star Wars game has nothing like that in it.
No.
There's not too many games that are using that. I mean, it obviously takes a lot to pull it all together, but for its time, it was a great game, and I want you to play it.
All right, I'll get onto it. That'll be my challenge for the week. Matt Cockrell has let us know that he wants us to play Fallout 76. So, Matt, we will endeavour to do that. I will get onto Fish, because I know he has that game, and we can probably see if we can play it, just to see what it's all about, because that man does love to harp on about Fallout. So,
Oh, can I give you a quick movie review?
absolutely. Jeff, whip us back to full screen. Oh, my God, look at that. Magic. I absolutely love it. That was worth all the time and effort setting up, wasn't it, Jeff?
I saw Frozen 2 on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. How'd you go?
Took the girls. It was really good.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've heard some so-so things about that as well.
It was good in terms of, like, it was what it needed to be and it was nothing more. I mean, it's a sequel to a really successful movie. Like, you can't top it. And I didn't go into it expecting that it was going to be better than the first one. It's a kids' movie, but they've developed the movie like they've clearly taken note that the kids that are watching Frozen 2 saw Frozen 1 when it first came out. So they're a bit older now, so they're going to want to see something new, and it did exactly that.
I've heard it's jam-packed with new songs trying to be the next Let It Go.
I don't remember any of the songs other than their main theme, Into the Unknown, which has been stuck in my head all week. Because Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco did a cover of it.
Oh, did
or
he?
he did like the credits song. Man, that man can sing.
It was good?
It's good.
All right, I'm going to have to give it a listen after we're off air. What would you give it out of our ranking system? Is it a must-watch?
Oh, it's a 3-star. It's a good watch if you're a Frozen fan. It's great for kids, and I took my kids to see it. So that's all that. My kids are happy. I'm happy.
Why don't we have Addie here giving us
Exactly.
her review? That's what I really want to hear.
Well, I'll ask her, and I'll record it and we'll play it on the show.
We'll play it next week. I love it. Let us know what you are watching and playing this week, Must Players. We would absolutely love to hear from you in the comment section. As always, thank you as well for joining us every single week. We do appreciate your support. Next week, we will have Fish back. The man had to go to a Real Big Fish concert, so we couldn't let Fish not go to the Real Big Fish
Concert
concert.
night. What are we doing with our lives?
I know, even
Meso's
Meso's.
at Ender Shikari.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Well,
I thought it was like a restaurant when he first mentioned it. But apparently it's some hardcore band, and I'm just completely out of the loop
you
because
are so out of the loop.
I'm a grandpa at heart. Thank you again for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our show. I hope you enjoyed our little test of a little bit more to come. Live
Hopefully
gameplay.
We'll get a bit better at Super Mario Maker next time we play it.
Oh, we're terrible. If there's one thing that needs to be fixed over this next week, it's our ability to actually play a video game.
Sorry, everyone. We're terrible.
We will get there, I promise you. Otherwise, Jules, I'll see you next week. And we'll see you on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock once
Thursday.
more. Oh, Thursday night. Are we Thursday night now? Oh my God, what day
And
is it?
for the past few months.
Just play the outro.